What's up, DYM? Hey, yo, it's your winner, DONMANIA, aka DONMANIA, you know it's murder. Today, we back with another video. This is another video double uploading, bro. I don't even think it's gonna be a time where I single upload, bro. I'm so addicted, I can't even stop. But today, we're gonna be reacting to Andre the Giant. How amazing genetics made life impossible. Now, for those who don't know who Andre the Giant is, he is a wrestling legend for just being a giant. I'm gonna be real. He was one of the first big giants. He was before Big Show, and he did not brush his teeth. That's what I know. He didn't brush his teeth. He was a menace of society. He was hella strong, but suddenly he passed away very early. Now, was he one of my favorites? I'm gonna be real. Absolutely not. You got John Cena, the attitude adjustment, or you could call it the FU, and he got the STFU, and he got the 5-knuckle shuffle. I know his whole move set. I'm telling you. And you got Jeff Hardy, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton. You have so much fire wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against Andre, but anyways, let's get into this video.
Andre the Giant's size gave him everything.
The largest and highest paid and best known wrestler in the entire world.
Once being listed by the Guinness Book of Records as the highest paid wrestler ever. These same genetics, however, made his life a living hell, with Andre famously stating, "I would give much money to be able to spend 1 day per week as a man of regular size." When he was born, Andre already weighed 13 pounds or 6 whole kilos, which is almost double the average male baby, weighing 3.3 kilos or 7.5 pounds.
13 pounds is
Growing
crazy.
up, Andre played soccer, with his childhood friends stating he used to be the goalie, but the ball would never go in because he was so big. By the age of 12, Andre was 6'3" and 240 pounds or 108 kilos.
I started going to school, I was bigger than all of you.
Bro,
He was
taller
too
than me
big to
right
fit
now.
on the local school bus, and his family didn't have the money to buy a car that could deal with his weight. As a result, Andre left school to work on a farm, where one day a friend of the farm's owner drove slowly past the field in a Rolls Royce. "I will own such a car as that someday," Andre said quietly. "Stop dreaming and start raking," his father replied. "You are a big boy, but that dream is too big even for you."
Oh, nah. El Dad.
Like this. And he said, quit dreaming and keep walking.
According to his brother, Andre did the farm work of 3 different men and would drive an unregistered car as the cops wouldn't dare to stop him. When he tried to join the military,
Andre was deemed unfit for service as there were no shoes big enough, bunks long
Dang.
enough, or trenches deep enough to accommodate him.
yet these same issues made him a wrestling sensation. He'd
That's
officially
annoying.
become
He
Andre
couldn't
the
do anything
Giant, a
else.
famous televised wrestler, but more notably had grown so much, his own parents didn't recognize him when he came back home.
My parents, there was a big fan of me on the so many TV, but they don't know.
Your parents were a fan and they didn't know it was you.
No, because I changed my name.
At over 7 foot tall and 500 pounds or 227 kilos,
Dang!
Andre saw a doctor to figure out why he'd grown so much.
7 foot?
Acromegaly was the diagnosis, a rare 1 in 12,000 brain tumor causing the body to produce excessive growth hormone. It leads to extra large hands, feet, and fingers, as well as a bigger jaw, nose, lips, and tongue. According to Ripley's Believe It
That's
or
a
Not, his
disability?
fingers were so big around that the ring he wore had an opening that could easily fit a silver dollar, which is 38.1 mil. To put the size into perspective, the average man's finger is around 10 to 11 mil around.
That man Andre must be on some cocaine. How? Bro. That man's finger was like an iPhone, bro. I ain't gonna lie, what the heck?
This could be seen in
Andre.
interviews like this.
This is his ring, and I kid you not, I can get all 3 fingers in that ring.
With people on
Andre,
Reddit
what the
adding,
heck is
favorite
this?
fact is that Andre was so large, he could push a hard-boiled egg through his wedding ring. My wife met him once and instead of a handshake, she said she could only shake one of his fingers. These elements made him so unique that when doctors offered to remove his tumor, Andre bluntly refused.
He decided that he didn't want treatment at that time because he thought it would interfere with his career as a wrestler.
He'd state, if this is the size that God wanted me to be, I'm going to be this size.
I use what God gave me. I'm not supernatural, I just myself. So what God gave me, I use it to make a living.
However, this gave him a short life expectancy.
The commissioned doctors at Madison Square Garden told me he's going to be lucky to live to be 40.
And meant he'd keep on growing until the day he'd die. By the time he'd joined the WWE, Andre had reached 7'4", peaking at 560 pounds or 225 kilos.
What size boot is that, Andre?
7'4", 500 pounds?
Take a look at that along my size 9.
This made him the most successful
Wait, what's
wrestler.
his size?
5 kilos.
What size boot is that, Andre?
It's 22, size 22.
Size 22. I mean, Andre was not getting the new Jordans. We know Andre, he was not getting no Jordans. Andre was not getting no Asics. Andre was not getting no New Balances. Andre was not getting no Balenciagas. Andre was wearing cowboy boots.
Take a look at that along my size 9.
This made him the most successful wrestler ever.
Without a doubt, Andre was the most famous wrestler in the world.
Yet it also continued to make his life harder.
It's difficult everywhere I go. They don't build anything for big people. They build everything for blind people, for crippled people, for some other people, but not for big people.
Andre was constantly visiting new cities.
The nature of your job, you're traveling all the time, aren't you? Like 320 nights a year.
Yes.
Which came with its own set of challenges.
Hotel beds, are they a problem?
I tried to find a hotel where they got a king-size bed. There was, when I go in Japan, all those cars are so small.
Sure.
Even in a hotel, I can go through the door, I can go to the bathroom, everything is so small.
Andre was too large to fit inside most cars.
When I'm traveling with a car, I need 2 cars.
That's right. You can't even get in it.
There's nowhere for the giant to live anymore.
Yes.
Wait, how do we...
One car in each foot.
Taking a taxi wasn't a better alternative.
Funny story, one time we couldn't get a taxi because he was so big.
And when they finally got one, Andre was charged extra.
We ask him how much he has, and we see the counter, he charges double. So you're a big guy, you have to pay double.
It seems that flying was Andre's only option, where he'd have to book the entire exit row. However, thankfully, he was able to fix this problem.
What about plane travel? Does that get old after a while? Awful?
I go in first class, but I don't drink mine with it.
Despite this costing an absolute fortune,
I'm traveling so much. Last year I bought for $67,000 just an airplane ticket.
there was still another even bigger flying problem. Andre couldn't fit inside the toilet. He therefore had to relieve himself prior to boarding.
Andre would always time it so that he would take a dump before, he went to the airport.
But in one notable instance, he forgot to go beforehand.
He's up in first class and he tells them, I gotta go. And they're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
The onboard solution wasn't exactly glamorous.
He would relieve himself into a bucket and then they bring him in and dump it into the toilet.
But in retrospect, the story's pretty funny.
The smell that started coming out, there was people falling out of their seats almost into the aisles, puking, crying, screaming.
Sadly, this didn't only apply
That
to
man
planes.
too big to be talking. That dump was crazy.
No. Yeah. There's no toilet gonna take his ass.
And with monumental bells came monumental farts.
It sounded like, like a deep roar, kind of like thing. It would rumble.
On the set of Princess Bride, this actually halted production.
He lets out the most monumental fart. The whole plywood set was shaking, and the sound guy lifted his headphones off his ears.
All right, y'all dragging it. It's no
It
way.
went on for
Y'all
some
dragging
time,
it, bro.
16 seconds.
Nah,
Andre's
bro, I don't
former
believe
wrestling
that.
opponents thought the wind lasted even longer.
And I could feel my fucking shoulder just vibrate like. You know how long a giant can fart? How long? About 40 seconds.
Andre was so different to everybody else, it got to the point of public ridicule. Hulk Hogan explained when we'd walk through the airports, if he got ahead of me, I'd hear all the unkind things that people would say. Oh my God, look at that guy. It would just break my heart.
They perceived him as a freak of nature, and that hurt Andre more than anything. This guy was very sensitive. Boss, sometimes they laugh at me, they point at me. It hurts my feelings. You never think a guy like that would cry? but he would cry.
Andre stated in an interview, "I would give much money to be able to spend 1 day per week as a man of regular size. I would shop and I would go to the cinema and drive around in a sports car and walk down Fifth Avenue and stare at the other people for a change. Disguising himself in public simply wasn't possible."
Muhammad Ali could put on a trench coat and a ball cap. Andre the Giant couldn't hide in the backseat of a car.
Instead opting to numb himself completely.
He never, ever, ever quit drinking. He drank from the time he got up to the time he went to bed. If he could figure out a way, he'd just done it in his sleep.
While Andre's drinking feats are often highly romanticized, there's no denying he had a serious problem.
He started drinking about 9 o'clock in the morning. He drank like, I'm not exaggerating, like 20 bottles of new Beaujolais.
Doing so to cope with his difficult life.
He drank because he was in pain. His spine,
bottles?
neck, and his knee gave him a lot of trouble.
He ain't gonna get
drinks
drunk
6
like a
bottles
regular
of wine
person.
before every wrestling match, with Jake the Snake explaining that Andre once drank 48 beers in a single car trip.
He drank 2 cases of beer and did not have to piss. How can you do that?
This was nothing compared to a different night.
Is it true that you, in one sitting, drank 117 beers?
Yes.
Were you drunk at the end of that?
I don't remember. I think I passed out.
With Andre's unofficial record being 156 beers in one sitting, which fellow wrestlers Dusty Rhodes and Michael Hayes confirmed. However, this only added extra weight onto his body.
I myself saw him almost every night drink 7,000 calories worth of alcohol,
which seemed to be the primary motive for why he eventually quit.
But you don't drink anymore?
Not since 14 months ago I quit.
You feel better for not drinking?
Yeah, because when I was drinking beer, I used to weigh 560 pounds.
And you've trimmed down now to?
Right now, I'm 470.
This led to the infamous Andre the Giant vs Hulk Hogan, after which his career was basically over. When he next came to a match, Andre was using crutches, showing the decline of his physical health. He retired to a ranch in North Carolina until he flew back to France for his father's funeral. He'd take this photo after the ceremony without realizing that 3 days later, Andre himself would die of a heart attack.
I'd like to announce the death of one of my favorite wrestlers and one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. He died this week in Paris, France, after going home to his father's funeral.
His body was too large to fit in any French crematorium.
Yeah, I was about
and
to
as a result,
say,
he was
I know
shipped
that
back to
bill
the
was
USA.
crazy.
His ashes weighed 17 pounds or almost 8 kilos, being just another reason he's remembered as a legend.
Dang. What the heck is going on? Anyways, man, shout out to Andre the Giant. That's crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that's the thing about being tall, bro. I would like it, but if you too tall, it's a lot of limitations you seek. I ain't gonna hold you. It's so much limitations. I ain't gonna hold. Especially with cars, living in a regular life, it's not even, you can't even do that. Imagine Wemby wasn't good at basketball. What would Wemby be doing, bro? Like, imagine that. Like, if you that tall, if you not bringing in income, it's going to be harder. I ain't going to hold you. But anyways, man, further ado, want y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, man. I love y'all, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. I love y'all, man. Peace.